another team that's probably a bit more exciting. It's the West Tigers. I laugh, but there's a bit more respect starting to come on to the West Tigers name. I feel like this last couple of weeks in this off season or pre-season, wherever up to, where's it gone? It's
fixing
vanished.
It's getting to him that much. He's trying to fix it live on the can't help it. Jeremy's also gonna, as he's fixing it, he's going to announce these first 4 names in the games as well. Because I just looked at him. I am glad I am not doing it.
I will.
We're back to Jez.
Happily.
So, we go before.
It was doing my head in. I can't have that S down for the next 2. That was ridiculous.
We don't need the slides to do this. I'll run through this with Joel while Jeremy's doing it. Do we know who the Tigers' 5 captains are this year?
No, I believe Benji's realised he's the best option for that, so he's named himself captain, coach, CEO, water boy, whatever else you want. There we go, guys. Look, this is what we do, League of Inches. On the run, if it's not what we like it, we will fix it. Like we've just told Adam to get closer to the mic because his sound was shit. So if we don't like it on the run, we will fix it. And our producer fixes it. So Jez, kudos to you. And as a reward, you can let us know the gains and losses for the West Tigers.
I thought you were going to let me off the hook. All right.
I just love this.
West Tigers. We've got Solomon Alamalo. I think I've nailed that one. And then Slowlo. Fartapi. And I believe these might be those wonderful recruitments from either Fiji or someone around there. So that might be exciting.
No, so Alamalo is from rugby sevens, I'm pretty sure. So he's actually, there's a lot of hype about him. They reckon if Novaluma ends up leaving, he'll be a winger.
Right. Latu Fianu from the Seagulls.
If you get that one right, you can get the next one right.
Or Samuela Fianu from the Seagulls. Justin Ollerman. Justin Ollerman from the Storm. Aiden Caesar from Leeds, and Jaden Sullivan from the Dragons. So not some pretty good gains there for the West Tigers. Definitely massive snatching Justin Olam only recently. But I also like that Aiden Caesar's made his way back into the NRL. And Jaden Sullivan, I think that might be exciting for him. Whether or not he plays a lot of game time, but I think that's going to be exciting for him. The losses, you've got to move my light. Sean Blaw, what a cool last name. He's off to the Storm. Luke Brooks, finally, he's getting out of there. He's getting out of the Tigers. Now they can't blame him anymore.
He's taken his barbecue and he's headed to the Seagulls.
I wonder if he's had a cook-up for the Manly boys. Ken highly recommend they go down to Four Pines Brewery. Down to Four Pines Brewery. It's right near the stadium. Take your Weber. You'll be fine.
Luke Brooks was pretty close to signing to the Dragons, but they have a no barbecue policy now, and he didn't want to leave his special barbecue.
Honestly,
that was good. There's another clip. 55 minutes. Write that one down. Atasi James for the Seagulls. Dane Laurie off to the Panthers. Ken Mamalo to the Titans. Joe Offahengawi, which I love hearing the Triple M call when Joe Offahengawi was on the ball. He's off to the Eels. There you go, boys. You've picked one up finally.
He come halfway through last year. Did his calf the first game.
Oh, right. What a wonderful signing for the Parramatta Eels. Tommy Talou off to the Seagulls. Brandon Wakeham, again, to the Seagulls. So lots of swapping in between the Manly Seagulls and the West Tigers.
Can we just highlight quickly, before we get into the games, what are the Manly Seagulls thinking? What are they actually
poaching
thinking?
From the Tigers.
If their recruitment is to take 4 players from the team who come last. They've got to be cheap. But 4 players who come last. Like, look, I want to do the loss. I think Luke Brooks would be good to see him go across there. I think he'll actually go really well with no pressure on him playing with Cherry Evans. I think it's exactly what Manly need. We're not talking about Manly, but I don't know this Atasi James. Fireworks are going off. But Brendan Wakeham, obviously a fringe first grader going to Seagulls. He's obviously going to be a backup like he was last year to Luke Brooks anyway. And then Tommy Talau, well, obviously Jess is more of a Northern Beaches girl, so had to get him away from Leichhardt and his flame with his new relationship. But some of those signings just for the Seagulls, back to the Tigers. Good for the Tigers to get rid of some of the dead.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of fresh air.
They've got to be cheap. That's why.
Yeah, it must be.
Some exciting
I like the Olam signing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Buller.
Buller, massive signing to 27. That's great. Coruscant to 26. Dewey only got one extra year. Yeah, what was that? You've got to adjust, Dewey. Remember when he was kicking the goal? That was a very funny video. Charlie Staines, 25. Stafford Toa to 26. Alex Twal to 27. So some nice re-signs there.
Haven't they just lost? I don't think he's going this year, but haven't they just lost that other winger, Junior Tapua, whatever his name is? Isn't he going to?
Yeah, he's going to Dolphins.
There you go. So that's a massive loss for him because they, as you said, obviously some of the young players that had coming through on the re-signings they've made, Buller, and if they would have kept him, it would have been pretty exciting for the Tigers fans. Well, they can't go any worse, let's be honest. But as for the gains, look, Aiden Caesar, I think he's going to be more of a backup. I believe Sullivan's a big chance there of obviously getting a start. I know someone said he might play much game time, but rumour has he's a big chance of obviously getting a start for the Tigers, which
he has to get game time. He's signed there for $650,000 a year. So
yeah,
Jaden Sullivan will be first choice in the halves. I think he'll be 5'8". Caesar will be half back to have some experience.
Big career move for him going from the 16th place team last year to the 17th, but obviously there was something not right quite there at St. George last year with the whole Ben Hunt situation as well, I believe. But
yeah,
look, Olam, it's great when he pulls off a big shot and can do some wonderful things in attack. I liked him at the start of last year. He seemed to adapt his game a little bit, brought a bit of kicking into his game and just trying to run over the top of players. But defensively, he got exposed massively in a pretty strong Melbourne Storm team. So going into a week as Tigers team,
that's why he got dropped.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, exactly right. And look, I know Melbourne, obviously, as we know, they do have a salary cap now. They didn't for quite a while. But Craig Bellamy doesn't let go of quality players if he really wants to keep them. And for him to drop Olam and be happy to trade him, I'd be a little bit worried about that if I was a Tigers fan.
Oh, yeah. I agree, but I also think the Tigers aren't the Melbourne Storm, and they're not anywhere near it, but they need to add some building blocks to get there. So I think this could be someone who has been around a system like the Melbourne Storm, probably had one of his off years last year, both on and off the field, and has probably gone, you know what, give me a fresh start. Here's the Tigers, and I can at least guide him to. Like, he is now an experienced player. So that's what the Tigers need. They need some help in the back line, especially at centre, and he will help that out. And I just think he's a good signing for the Tigers. The Fainu brothers look to the future once again. So I like the fact that the Tigers are looking at that, getting some young playmakers in and building around him. They won't be rushing him in at any stage. I don't think either of them may be a bench spot early on, but I don't anticipate him having too much of a role in first grade this year. But yeah, what's our recruitment rating for the West Tigers? I'm actually going to, I know there's a lot of hate normally for the West Tigers. I'm actually going to say this one's a 7. I'm going to give West Tigers a 7. It's not over the top. It's not massive names that, but I just think it's some smart recruitment, which we can't say about the Tigers for a few years now.
Yep, I'm gonna go a 7 as well. But I think it's more because I'm just excited for Luke Brooks to get out of there. Like I just want him to actually
off the bus.
Seem like he can enjoy his
He's
footy.
the last one.
He is. He's the last one.
But also,
remember the big four. The big four, they're all going to leave. Yeah. Moses, Woods, Tedesco, and Brooks. And poor Brooksy, he must have got stuck in the back corner of that bus. He thought it was cool to sit in the back seat. And every time that door opened, he mustn't have made it in time because he just could not get off. Ivan said, get off the bus, and he's been trying. He couldn't do it. Even Ivan got off the bus before him.
Well, he's off now. And the re-signing of Buller to 27, I think, is huge for the Tigers. So that's why they got a 7.
Adam, I'm giving him a 5. Just the fact that similar to Canberra, what they've let go of opposed to what they've brought in. You know, you look at their starting halves. It started last year. I believe it was Brooks and Laurie. For a while there, it was Brooks and Wakeham. The fact they've let go of Brooks, Wakeham, and Laurie in the same year doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And look, obviously heads have got to roll. When your team comes 17th and you get the wooden spoon by quite a long way, and some of the hidings they copped last year obviously weren't good enough. But I would have been keeping one of those players around to try and build your halves combination. We know that obviously next year Luai is going to come in, but you probably nailed it on the head. It's probably going to be Sullivan and Caesar as the halves. And they've also, not on the list, but Will Smith was there as well. He's gone as well. So
keep my wife's name out.
Different Will Smith. He's we could say he's retired, but he'll be lining up for the West Newcastle Maggots, also known as the Rosellas, in the 2024 season. So he, where he's from, he's a junior, but
I've been actually seeing him around lately, quite a bit.
He's probably back living in Toronto, to be honest. I think that's where he a lot of his time. So, but he, like I said, that's their fourth choice half. So they've essentially lost their 4 first choice halves from last year. I believe Dewey will play 5'8" with Sullivan at halfback. Caesar will be a backup. I think that's where Dewey's got to be. He's got to also kick a game. If he gets back.
Dewey's not playing. Dewey won't be back for at least halfway through the year.
Is that how bad it was? I knew it was bad, but okay. Well, I'll say this. I'll say when Dewey gets back, he'll come into the halves with Sullivan, obviously paving the way. But it doesn't really matter who plays 5'8" because Luai be in the halves the year after anyway, and they won't.
And as you said, they'll have Luai playing by about round 7, won't they? So
big chance.
So Caesar only get a couple of games at the start,
and then back to Super League.
He made it out.
The positives for the West Tigers, I said it at the start of the opening for the West Tigers. I just think the fact that it feels like as a club as a whole, they're starting to make the right moves from right at the top all the way down here to the players and so forth. I feel like that needed to be a fresh start. This year needed to be the line in the sand. They've done that. They've got some of the right moves in place. I think Benji, I didn't like the whole we'll have Sheens in there for the first years and then Benji didn't really have much experience. It's either throw him into the deep end and let him swim, see if he can swim, or don't do it at all because it was not going to work. So he's in there now. He's got a chance. There's a lot of good talk around what Benji's doing at the Tigers. So hope for the Tigers' sake because, look, to be honest, I'm actually over and being at the bottom and being the laugh stock. I actually want to see the Tigers a bit more successful, win a few more games. I think the league's better for it when there's a strong West Tigers side running around. I know the likes of like Parramatta, etc. When we get to have those big games, it's a lot better when the Tigers are actually doing well. But yeah, positive for mine. Just the club as a whole feels like it's a fresh start. Some decent players coming through, some good young players coming through. Like Bull is a star; he's an out-and-out star of the future. And the fact that they've got him there at fullback, he's just one that they can build with. And then if he can build a combination with Coruscant next year, or if it's maybe sometime this year, Luai as well, then there's just some stepping stones working well there for the Tigers.
Yep, it's the old clean slate protocol. Start from the top, wipe everyone out, and it's only up from here.
Well, Mr. Negative, I know you like to just start at the concerns, so you can take over the concerns.
Me?
Oh, you're renowned for it now. Everyone just knows. I get messages about it now weekly after people listen to it, and they go, honestly, how Adam has said this and that. No, I'm having to go. Like, Adam, I love you, and the fans are a bit split, I think. But you give us great feedback.
But the simple fact is, it's the truth. Like, you can't shine shit, and they're going to be shit again. As much as, like you said, I'd like the Tigers to go better. I like a strong Tiger because I like beating a strong Tiger. I like beating a strong Newcastle. You want one of your closest rivals, and like you said, we have some big games obviously against them. They seem to always turn up against us no matter what. To be honest, we don't seem to blow them out too much like we should, except for the opening of stadium. But they've been disappointing for so long. I'll give the positive. I'll say something positive for those 3 Tigers fans listening that haven't given up on their team. The youth coming through. I'm excited by Bull. I'm excited what they're bringing through. And obviously some of the signings they've made, as you said, those Fanua brothers and where these other rugby players are, they're obviously looking the future. It probably is another rebuilding year, but if I'm a Tigers fan, I'd take a rebuilding year and accept that over a year of being cellar dwellers and getting beat by 70 points. That's as simple as that. So that's probably as positive as I can be about him. Because besides Sullivan, I don't really think their signings are that wonderful. And like I said, they've screwed up a bit with their losses.
Yeah, I think the only concern is probably their halves.
You can't shine. Love it.
Yeah, do you have any other concerns for the Tigers? I want to try and be positive with the Tigers. So I don't want to say any.
Any concerns? There's a few. One, is it true that they're only playing like one game out of Leichhardt this season? Like they're stepping away.
No, they're trying to take more. No, they're trying to get more games to suburban grounds. Like they've moved the
6 and 6.
Good.
They're moving the Parramatta one from Combank, which would normally be our home ground.
It's usually
actual. I think it's Campbelltown now. So they're actually trying to get more games but split it. I think what it is I think either Leichhardt's been used more early on or something, and they're not getting the right time frames for it. And that's what people aren't happy with. I have to double check. To be honest, I don't really read too much West Tigers news for the last few years, but I remember seeing something.
Can you be a bit more positive about the Tigers, Joel, and give some information?
Yeah, I'll get better. Sorry, guys.
They have split their games. It's 6 and 6, and it kind of rotates all over the place.
They just need to play out of Leichhardt. They get a dwindle 1,000 every home game. You take that to Leichhardt, it packs it out. That's what makes rugby league.
Yes, but part of the thing with the merger, Jeremy, is the other merge team has to get something out of it, and people seem to forget it's not the Balmain Tigers. West, besides that little logo we established on the thing, they get not allowed out of this besides providing a lot of money. So to have them at Campbelltown makes sense. They're taking a game to Tamworth. They're, as usual, hosting a Queensland team at Magic Round, and the other games are split evenly besides that.
Cool.
No, well done. What about our finishing position for the Tigers? I do think they'll improve. I still think they'll finish in that 13th to 17th bracket. So probably 13th, I'll say. Adam, I know what you're about to say. You said you can't polish a shit. So what, 17th?
Yeah, look, I think.
Stop it.
They'll be in a few more games. They actually started to show a bit of promise halfway through last year when Appy got back on the field. Then Appy got injured, and they actually started. And I thought Brooks actually started to find some pretty decent form. Obviously, when they smashed the Cowboys, here we go. They could go on a bit of a run here. I think Matt made the ridiculous. Oh, that was the Bulldogs. He made that statement about last year. They were going to come good, but I think I even said, "Look, the Tigers are on a bit of a charge," but they went back to being the Tigers. So, 13th to 17th as well. But same as you, I think they'll show some improvement.
Yes,
13-17. That's where they.